Hello again, YouTubers, Ultimate SpongeBob 101 back here again on the SpongeBob channel with our review of episode 25 of Kamp Koral, SpongeBob's Under Years, Taste of Defeat, and Scaredy Squirrel. The synopsis states, Plankton discovers competition in Narlene's backwoods restaurant. Also, Sandy spends a night at the Trawler cabin. Let's dive right in. Starting off with the Taste of Defeat. It's once again a Narlene and Nobby episode, but now with Plankton playing a central role. This time, Plankton is intentionally serving inedible slop to the campers for breakfast, and it's obviously too disgusting for anyone except Patrick to swallow. Plankton even recycles the slop that the campers throw down the bin because it simply flows through a pipe and back into his pot. With some color dye, the lunch slop is finished. Absolutely disgusting. This is when Narlene and Nobby jump in, inviting SpongeBob, Patrick, and Sandy to their new restaurant in the woods, named Narlene's Dew Slapper Cafe, serving up all sorts of barbecue, where the menus are run over sea bunnies, yeah, literally. The three of them soon realize how delicious the food is, and then spread the word to the rest of the campers as expected. By the next morning, Plankton's clientele has completely dried up, and when Krabs threatens not to pay Plankton if the kids don't get fed, he fumes, even saying that he won't be able to fill up his college fund. Well, for starters, he could serve up tasty and edible food, perhaps, but nope, he's just all about taking the competition down. After telling one of the campers, he seizes a sample of food from Narlene's restaurant and also finds it absolutely delicious. So this leads to several attempts to take Narlene down. The first involves him raining down into Patrick's chowder and eating the crackers Patrick puts in. Nobby quickly solves it by using a razor clam, and Plankton is sent running. Then Plankton tries to use skunk snails to stink up the place, and he zaps them, which is pretty stupid, making them target him instead. After being cleansed by Karen, he then decides to steal the formula to the food. Typical, right? But what he finds does shock him. It turns out Narlene was cooking food with her feet and using other abhorrently unsanitary practices. So when SpongeBob and the rest of the campers find out, thanks to, strangely enough, Plankton, they run for the hills. Their eyes suddenly open to the disgusting food they were eating that they originally thought was delicious. I guess that's just how the writers represented a change in psychological perception. While Plankton's really proud of himself, Narlene forces him to pay the bill, and of course that means Plankton's gonna be doing the dishes. The plot is a very interesting one, pitting Narlene and Nobby on one hand against Plankton on the other, both sides being of at least borderline malicious character. It was kinda expected that Narlene was gonna be disgusting, but at the same time, it was nice to see Plankton have some competition. And while I disagree on the moral level with Plankton's actions, it's clearly in his character to not do the right thing, but rather try to go the easy way around, only to have that plan foiled as well. Plot gets 8 out of 10 from me. Animation gets 8 out of 10 as well. It's mostly standard, but the scenes that really stood out to me were, well, the Sea Bunny menus, Plankton on Cloud 9, and the subsequent Plankton raindrop, Karen using a cocktail to cleanse Plankton, and Plankton sneaking into Narlene's restaurant as a sea urchin and then taking notes, only to then be absolutely disgusted. Also, Plankton being used to wash the dishes was cool. Unique characteristics gets 8 out of 10. So far, Plankton has had a monopoly over dining options at camp, which always felt strange since his culinary skills are absolutely terrible. On the other hand, that's probably why he's being retained by Krabs, since it keeps costs way down. So Plankton getting the series competition was a nice change up for this series at least. Overall, the Taste of Defeat gets 24 out of 30 from me. Moving on to Scaredy Squirrel, we have Sandy that is actually scared of a whole group of people, the entire Trawler cabin. She feels like their existence is completely unnatural, and one running gag here that I really like is the kid who says, "This is fun," while being trapped in Predatory's web, and then later becoming a butterfly and then getting trapped in the web again. SpongeBob and Patrick, of course, are not super stoked that Sandy isn't friends already with the Trawler cabin campers, and they plead with her to join them on a sleepover at the Trawler cabin so that she can make friends with them. Sandy reluctantly agrees and starts getting freaked out immediately by the clapping thunder, which SpongeBob claims is the sound of two giants playing patty cake. Nice reference to Cephalopod Lodge. Patrick even claims that Sandy's science is superstitious, which was a total flip, right? Sandy is then introduced to the campers of the Trawler cabin, first spraying Predatory with pest spray, then collecting goo samples of Jimmy Blobfish and offering to remove Roxy's growth before hissing at Kid Ferratu, who spooks her out. Sandy's real nervous, and that worsens when SpongeBob and Patrick accidentally fall through the wall. Sandy goes searching for them in the bathroom, claiming she's gonna help them with the paperwork, and then finds herself facing a mysterious hallway, screaming out, "SpongeBob, Patrick, where are you?" Is that a reference to Scooby-Doo or something? You guys let me know. A door opens and she finds Predatory's cocoons of what turns out to be dirty laundry. Well, actually, there's also that kid there, but yeah. Looking in the mirror, she notices another door opening and there are two coffins in the room. They really turn out to be Kid Ferratu's tanning beds. Why Kid Ferratu would want to get a tan despite being unable to stand sunlight doesn't make any sense, but hey, you know, it is what it is. We then have green goo appearing on the ground, causing her to slip into the bathroom, where she encounters Jimmy Blobfish, who asks her to scrub his back. Ew. Also, it seems like Jimmy has a crush on Sandy. Sandy falls out the window and sees the giants and the lightning before sobering up. She encounters Roxy cutting up what looks to be SpongeBob and taking a star-shaped cake out of the oven. She then bursts through the door to find a dining table set up. Once she is seated in the chair reserved for honored guests, SpongeBob and Patrick are revealed to be cooked. Just kidding. It was all a fun surprise to celebrate their new friendship. Then the "this is fun" kid also turns into a butterfly and just tells her to embrace the magic. Sandy is amused at the whole thing, and after a weird silence where Predatory rebuts Sandy's claim that they wouldn't eat her, SpongeBob, and Patrick in a million years, they all laugh, and Sandy invites them to the dingy cabin for a sleepover the next week. That is going pretty well, only to be cut short when the Trawler cabin campers are all scared away by Squidward's horrifying facial regime. The spooky piano playing the SpongeBob tune was a nice ending, and Jimmy saying "I love you" was awkward, so plot gets 8 out of 10. I really like the suspense leading up to the surprise. Sandy being separated from SpongeBob and Patrick meant we got to get a short but great spooky adventure for Sandy, once again developing her character further. As for the campers of the Trawler cabin, well, it's great to get more screen time of them, and this episode gave us another great look at their characters. Animation gets 8 out of 10. All around great designs and scenes throughout the episode, ranging from the "this is fun" kid, Sandy getting lost in the Trawler cabin, plus the surprise at the end. Unique characteristics gets 9 out of 10. I'm really liking the idea of SpongeBob and Patrick introducing their friends to their other friends, and in this case it was a great fit. Sandy wasn't comfortable with the unnatural and spooky Trawlers, and the Trawlers had their time to shine in making friends with Sandy in a very creepy or scary way, but still made for great entertainment. Overall, Scaredy Squirrel gets 25 out of 30 from me. So that's all for our review of these two episodes, guys. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about both of them. Make sure to subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys again in the next SpongeBob video coming real soon. Till then, bye.